encouragement needed. You didn't see me encouraging them to clap. They did that absolutely on their own with no prompting from me.
Spontaneously. Wow.
Oh, marvellous. Right, welcome back. I am Stanford Chidge. This is the Chelsea Football FanCast. That is Chelsea Chatter. This is Darren Mantle. This fine Shakespearean
hunk of a man.
Hunk of a man, even. That is Jonathan Kidd, and they are the benches, and they're great. And they gave us a nice round of applause, so they're certainly here until the next break. Anyway, moving along, we do, I'm afraid, have to discuss the game against Stoke on Saturday, which was a bit of a letdown, really. But I tell you what, because I don't want to get too downhearted yet, I'm going to start with the good news. And I have to say, Schürrle was just brilliant. I mean, it was fantastic, I thought, anyway, to see him start, number one. But he has such great energy and work rate. And topping it off with those 2 goals, I mean, he could have had a hat-trick. I mean, that one that hit the bar. What a left foot, guys. What a left foot.
But it shouldn't just be down to him, though, should it?
Stop being miserable.
I can't help it. I can't help it. I stood next to a bloke.
Carry on being miserable, I'm going to talk about the cricket.
I'll be even more miserable. I'll have to slump into a despond. But I stood next to a bloke watching, and I was at the Three Kings watching the Stoke game, and he was an Italian bloke with a hat like that, old bloke, and he said, "Look at this team. Look at this team, it is total crap," he said. I can't say that word on here, can I? It is total poo. Look at this team. It is total poo.
We'd like to apologise for the wrong use of the word
Wrong use of the word poo. And all the way through, just commenting, he said, "Why is Schürrle playing when he has been... He's good for him to play. Why has he not been playing all season?" He said, "He should be playing all season." I said, "Well, he wasn't very good earlier." Every argument I had failed miserably, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it was
he Rafa Benitez in disguise?
It could very well have been. And when they scored the third goal, he went, "Yes, I knew that would happen," and disappeared. That was the end of that. So.
Wow. That's very Mr. Ben-like, I think.
Well, I wondered whether he wasn't really a Chelsea fan at all. He was actually a Liverpool fan, because Liverpool game was and he was a plant, just to irritate me, just to get on my nerves. But
succeeded, though,
but very much so, very much so.
So that tenner I spent was well worth it.
Did you think that we were going to lose?
I think the problem is if they're going to attack, if he's going to play the Eto'o and Bar up, they're going to be a bit sparse at the back. So there's a kind of inevitability that they might have an attack towards the end. I just think that Cech hardly had any shots on goal, and it just seems bizarre that the set piece he just dealt with so incapably with, and then suddenly you've got all these calls for Courtois.
But seriously, I want to go back to Schürrle.
I've gone off the subject. I'm sorry.
I know you have, which is why I want to reintroduce it.
Sorry, I shouldn't have done.
But it's all right. I'll talk to Darren.
Okay, you can. I might interject.
No, it's all right. You drink your
carrot juice.
Carrot juice.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. Okay. I mean, look, I'm really pleased to see Schürrle start, because I think that he's shown glimpses of being a top player. And what I'm really pleased about is that actually, frankly, he was our best player against Stoke. He scored 2 superb goals, and he could have had a hat-trick. And I'm really pleased to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have started him in away games. I don't think he's been very good. Everton is wasteful, but he was obviously very good on Saturday, and he took his goals very well. And it was unlucky. Let's chop from him.
Now, here's a question, because I know that he can't. You obviously a Schürrle hater.
No,
Jonathan.
I'm not a Schürrle hater. It's just he's been intermittent. He played very well in one of the European games.
They've all been intermittent this season.
What was the reason for this? Why are they all being intermittent? Why
I don't know. We'll get
on
to that in a minute. What I want to know first, Chad might know this, because this is kind of quasi-statistical. Why did Jose take off what was arguably our best player against Stoke? I mean, he claimed in the post-match press that it was an injury. But, I mean, do you believe it?
To be fair, he did lie on the ground going like this.
Did he?
Yeah. Did you miss that?
I didn't see that. I was watching it on a dodgy internet stream.
It wasn't like
I mean, it was really weird, actually. It was like some kind of weird 1950s sci-fi movie, because you could see all the players, but you couldn't see their faces, like they had no face. Or maybe that was what I had to drink the night before. But seriously, you could on a dodgy internet stream, you really can't pick it out very well.
Could you not identify
and I may have
that
gone for a pee or something.
Kicked rather heavily?
Okay, so he was injured.
Well, it was the fact he made whatever you do to say, I'd like to be substituted.
Can somebody pour something into Jonathan's carrot juice and cheer him up a bit? He's a bit upset.
Well,
you are.
Our team aren't performing as well as they should be.
Ashes.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
exactly.
Bloody hell.
Cheer up. It could be worse. We could be just cricket fans.
Spineless, humiliating, embarrassing experience that the Ashes is.
Just to add in, apart from his 2 goals and the shot against the bar, he also set up Ramirez's 2 chances as well. So he's got.
I'd get a great game.
For one of them, he was standing in the penalty area when Ramirez's feeble shot dribbled at the goalkeeper. He should just have passed to him.
Okay. On any given one moment, if I think he's like just getting a bit too miserable, and just pump him. All right?
I tell you what I'll
pretend
be.
it was like you about 4 years ago. Yeah,
I'll be this Italian man for the rest of the evening.
Okay, now that one, I like that. We'll call you Geppetto.
Yeah, but he was a dreadful performance.
We'll call you Geppetto.
Mourinho should go. He says, dreadful at Madrid, dreadful. He said, he wanted to defend. It was an attacking team. He said, what has he done? He said, he should not have come back. They will lose all season. They are dreadful. What a dreadful team this is.
In any vain attempt to shut him up. What do you think about Schürrle? I mean, you know, I'm a fan.
Fantastic.
Well done, Bunsey.
Fantastic. Without doubt. The star of the game.
Great player. And my fantasy league team got me 6 points.
Good. I'm liking the bench's love for Schürrle. Chaddy, you've got some Twitter love, have you?
Yeah, Davy Carefree says that Schürrle was great. He's great playing on the flank and flying through Stoke's defence. Nick Kornitzer on Twitter says, well, the reason we bought him because he's not afraid to take shots and has world-class ability. And Bad Boat 11 has said that he had a great performance, but it means nothing if we lose, and it seems as though we're having too many great individual games and not enough team ones.
Well, I think that's a very good point. I mean, I'd like to pick up on Jonathan's other kind of major rant topic of the evening, and that's how wasteful we were. And I mean, you know, Jose did say this in his post-match presser that you know, we're creating a lot of chances at the moment, but we're failing to put them away. And if you fail to put your chances away, then what happens? Doesn't matter what team you're playing against. You know, they're going to get a chance, and invariably they're going to put it away. And we should have been out of sight by half time. You know, the weird kind of faceless match that I was watching, it was obvious that we should have done. And as we were saying, Ramirez is no Frank Lampard. He did waste a lot of chances, man.
Well, he just can't shoot.
He can't.
Other than he can lob beautifully, as he did in the Nou Camp. Yeah, but
it's kind of my point, Jonathan and Dazza and Chad, in fact, and even the benches, and even you lot out there. I mean, you know, it's all right for us to give him a hard time for you know, not being able to hit a cow's rear end with a banjo, but I think, again, we've been spoilt by having probably the greatest goal-scoring midfielder the game has ever seen, who, when he gets into those positions, invariably scores. So actually anybody is going to fail in comparison to him. What do you reckon, Darren?
Oh, yeah, I do half agree, but it's no excuse that when you're through, like, he was very wasteful, but then, obviously, it's not like Lampard wouldn't miss chances as well, and I think the thing is with Lampard, though, this time last year, everyone's saying we've got to renew his contract, and he had a year left, and obviously now his contract goes again this summer, so where's all the speculation about what's going to happen with Lampard?
Well, you know, who knows? I mean, I think if he does a decent job and Jose's still there, then he'll probably get another extension, possibly, who knows? But I think, talking of Jose, and we're focusing on Ramirez, you know, being culpable, but it was very interesting to see the opprobrium that Jose heaped upon our not very good strikers. Well, where have you been for the last 2 years, Jose? But, I mean, you know, the bottom line is, I reckon we could have brought on Torres, Eto'o. We could have had Torres, Bar and Eto'o playing at the same time, and they still wouldn't have scored a goal on Saturday, Jonathan.
I agree completely.
I mean, they are absolutely awful.
Well, I think they play better on their own.
They run around a lot.
They do. Eto's very good at running around, and he draws people away a lot. And he seems to have had the... I don't know. It's all in fits and starts, isn't it? Because Barr scored a very good goal against Southampton. He looked very impressive. Torres has had moments where he's got much more energy than he had last year. And Eto'o is you know, he's a great poacher. He nicks the ball, but you can't disappear in games like that against Stoke. You've got to give yourself a presence. You know, if somebody like Aguero was playing, all the other strikers, they've got 8 to 10 goals, haven't they? All the top strikers, even Giroud.
Well, that's what Jose was saying.
Got 8.
Aguero 8 to 12 goals. Suarez 8 to 12 goals.
That's right.
Dzeko 5 goals.
Yeah.
Somebody else 8 to 12 goals. Chelsea, we had. I mean, he said I'd love somebody to have 8 to 12 goals, but none of them have because they're all rubbish.
And then there was got the Telegraph on Twitter where the bloke was tweeting what a terrible mistake once again, sending Lukaku off, and Sturridge. But you know, and I got up there and responded and said, well, actually, Sturridge.
Who did you do this with?
The guy from the Telegraph. I can't remember his name.
Henry.
Twitter. No, it's another guy.
Something
or other. Yeah, and I just said whatever. I can't remember. I said Sturridge was really poor, and
Jason Burt
and Chelsea. I can't remember. Chelsea lost patience with him, and Lukaku wasn't very good in pre-season. So what is Jose supposed to do? I had
a phone call. I did the Absolute Radio show after the game with Whitey, yeah, I'm Whitey, and Ian Stone, no Arsenal bias whatsoever, yeah, I did, you know, And he was trying to mug me off. He was, way off he was. He was trying to tell me that Lukaku was decent and he'd have him in there. And I said, right, you know nothing about being a striker. I did. I got into the kind of part of it.
Of course,
striker.
you like that.
I said,
Yeah, striker.
no, but I said, no, because I'm sorry, man. I mean, it's one thing doing it for West Brom and Everton. It's another thing doing it for Chelsea. He bowled it and he went off. We all know that. So there we go. I'm sorry, I just had to get it in. Go back to where you were, everybody.
I'll just say very quickly as well, though, with Bar. He should be a lot more physical. He was getting bullied off the ball. He wasn't holding it up at all. Yeah. And he was just... It wasn't just the fact that he wasn't getting...
A lot of falling over.
I agree with you completely, but that's the trouble, because we play Stoke with Shawcross, much more physical than some of the other centre-halves. Very, very...
He's always had a reputation for it, everyone knows that.
Yeah, but then, Bar should be up for it, shouldn't he, that way?
Yeah.
So there's something deficient in Bar in that sense,
no, I agree.
which is awful.
Onil Clément Bartat.
Very good.
Yeah. That's the song we should sing about it,
His name is the same in his first name. He's got his second name in it.
There's a word for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there is a word for it. Anybody out there who actually can understand English grammar properly will know. Can you email in to chelseafancast@gmail.com. Anyway, I'm bored of talking about strikers, apart from I would like to make one point to underline the problem that we have. None of our strikers have actually scored a goal away in this calendar year. I mean, that's pretty pants, let's face it.
They don't grab it by the scruff of their neck, really. They don't once again, like an Aguero, gets the ball, and then you think, he's going to have a go. He's going to score from this position. Nobody comes in, and you think they're really in charge here. It just doesn't happen.
I tell you what it is, I've worked it all out, because, I like to have a theory about things. The benches are smiling. They like a Chidge theory. They do. I like a Chidge theory. But the theory is that basically, at the moment, we are a team with square pegs in round holes. I mean, 4 goals in 2 games conceded at set pieces, 6 goals conceded in 2 games, and we thought the defence was sorted out, Darren.
Yeah, it is. For Mourinho, though, Mourinho hates teams, for not being able to last 90 minutes. He's always big on that in training about fitness and stamina and everything else. And, to let in so many goals. He used to always... That is the first thing Mourinho would do. He used to joke about other teams letting in goals all the time.
Yes, he used to say that the 4-3 and 3-2 were only other teams had those scores. That wasn't proper football. He said that in his first time at Chelsea.
But here's another interesting stat for you, because I know it's very easy to go about the goals we conceded at set pieces. We'll talk more about that when we talk about the Sunderland game and obviously the first goal against Stoke. But I like to think that this is quite interesting, and maybe we're all going a bit overboard here. We're being a bit prone to panic and a bit petulant, like so many Chelsea fans are. We're all entitled to win every match. Everybody knows that. But actually, the reality is that in the last 3 matches, the opposition have had 7 attempts on goal, and they've scored 7 goals. Yeah. I mean, that's a bit weird. That is a bit. What's that? What's that thing? The X-Files.
X-Files. Yeah.
I can't remember the.
Not X Factor that
quite
you were thinking
bird
about.
in it. I was thinking X Factor.
I could see it forming in your mouth. Factor.
Yeah, it's all gone Simon Cowell, mate. I will get my Simon Cowell hair. We should do that. We should we'll do this show one week, and we should just dress up as the panel. I don't even watch it.
What would the benches do?
I don't know. They could be the audience going, whatever they do. But you could be the bird, Sharon.
I'd love that.
You could be Sharon Osborne.
He can be the bloke. Dress up good as a bird.
He could be the bloke from Take That, Gary Bale, or can you do a Manchester accent?
Yeah. I can't.
You used to live up there, Stockport Hat Factory.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, come on. I think he'd be more Gary Barlow, and he'd obviously have to be the other one.
Would I be Sharon Osborne?
Nicole.
So
yeah, that's quite nice. She's quite fit, though, isn't she?
Yeah, very fit.
Yeah. So what would I'd be Cowell, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you'd have to be Cowell.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Hang on, am I Sharon?
He'd be Louis Walsh.
Oh, he'd be Louis Walsh. Yeah, thank you, gallery. Louis Walsh.
Can I be both girls?
No, you're Sharon Osborne.
Is it one boy that way and one boy that way?
You could. You're multifaceted.
One large breast, one small breast.
OK, moving along. I think enough's the reality this week. Yeah. Look, bottom line is, that is a bit lucky, I think. The fact that 7 attempts, 7 goals, that's not going to happen every week. But I'd like to hear what the bench is. That's sensible. What do you reckon? Have I got a point here, or what?
I think so. 7 goals, it's crazy. Crazy. And also, we've conceded more goals now this season than we did on Jose's first championship season.
Yeah.
So clearly, John Terry's 7, 8 years older. Cahill, still not sure about. So obviously issues at defence. So.
Despite what they say about the strikers not scoring away, we've just scored 9 goals in 3 away games.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, Gary, is that, I think the proof in the pudding of that one is this, is that we all know that we went 1-0 up against Stoke. We created enough chances to be 3 or 4 up by half-time. Game over. They ain't coming back from that. But because the strikers aren't, converting any of the chances we create or coming to the party, it stays 1-0. and then you let a stupid goal in, which is caused by an absolutely Burkish mistake, and then it's a different game. So if we did have strikers scoring goals as well as the midfielders, we would be out of sight in these games and we wouldn't have the pressure.
It's true, but there was a time when under Jose, if we went 1-0 up, we'd win 1-0.
But that was then and this is now. You know, that was 2005. Different team, different players, and that's the point that you and Dan were making. You know, you had a
Ricky
different
Carvalho
defense.
was playing then.
We had Claude
He looks a bit
Makelele.
like an older Ricky Carvalho.
A very old Ricky Carvalho. I was at
Ricky's
a Spurs game once, in all honesty, and we scored, and my mate next to me, his mobile phone fell out of his pocket, and I had to ask the bloke in front, can I have his mobile phone back? And this bloke turned around, he went, oh, it's Ricky Carvalho! Everybody here, Ricky Carvalho's here! And I said, no, he's playing down there. And he went, oh yeah, he is, yeah.
OK, I'll tell you what, I'm going to change my mind. I don't think you look like Ricky Carvalho. I think you look like Lord Percy.
Lord Percy Carvalho?
No, Lord Percy from Blackadder.
Oh, what, Tim McInerney? He's a friend.
Oh, he's a friend of mine too, actually.
Is he?
Yes, Touché. He's a top lad, actually.
Yeah, very nice man.
He is, and he is Lord Percy.
Which
so maybe he looks like Ricky Carvalho.
He looks more like Ricky Carvalho than I do.
OK.
There was a period that
we've got 2 minutes, and we've got to stop. I've been told stop talking about Ricky Carvalho and Lord Percy.
OK.
Look. The main point about this whole square pegs and round holes thing, and a lot of people have been saying this, and it's very, very simple. We've got Branner playing at right back.
Put him in the middle.
Hold the thought. We've got Branner playing at right back. He should be playing in centre back because he's not a right back. We've got Aspie, who was a superb right back, doing a fairly pretty good job as left back. But why is he playing at left back when he should be playing at right back? Cahill, people have got a bit of a hump with, saying he's not consistent enough. That is a bit of a point, I think. Where is Rion Bertrand? Where is Rion Bertrand?
On his way to Liverpool.
Does Jose really not like him that much? And also, what about Ash? Is Ash so bad now that we don't? It's all a bit wrong, and it's all
out.
you know.
Falling out with him.
It's a bit shambolic, I have to say.
It is, I agree.
You know, but start playing players in their proper positions. I mean, it's, you know, play them in their proper positions, for goodness sake. I can't understand why we don't do that. You know, the only decent area really is the creative midfielders that we got, and half the time then we don't get them in the right place. Anyway, we've only got a minute left, so I've got to really hurry up, and I'm going to finish this off by saying a question for you all. Chatter first.
Okay.
What does Jose mean when he says we're in trouble? Shall I translate that into English?
Yeah, you can.
We are in trouble.
Yeah, well, I think.
What's he mean?
Well, we're not picking up any points really away from home, are we? It's, we can do it at home, but we're not consistent when we go away. Why is that?
Well, I'd love to know. Is it? I mean, we're inconsistent. Do we lack the championship mentality? Championship winning mentality? Very bad Freudian slip. Championship winning mentality, because he's kind of implied that.
I don't know. Yeah, I suppose we probably do, but then it has been a very different. Every team is a lot different now. It's a lot more unpredictable than when he turned up in his first season. We lost one game in October and didn't lose again. I don't think we do lack it, but we're certainly not showing it as much as we should be right now.
Well, annoyingly, we run out of time to answer that question. What a lucky thing that probably is. But, I mean, I would just say this, really. I think it is a confidence thing. When teams score against us, they seem to increase their confidence. And I have a nasty suspicion that we don't quite like it up us. We don't like being harried and pressed. And it all goes a bit pear-shaped when that happens. But no doubt we'll pick up on this in the Sunderland review later on. But after the break, it'll be time for the Fannies.